If there is one memory that has been etched in my mind throughout my years of hunting, it is the breathtaking confrontation with a giant wild boar in the mountains of Anatolia. It seemed like a normal wild boar control hunt, but no, nature always knows how to make people respected. I was with my close friend Mehmet, a veteran hunter in the area. This land has long been famous for its large wild boars, nurtured by dense oak forests or vast wheat fields. From the traces left behind, Mehmet confidently asserted, there was a leader very big. We divided up and set up checkpoints at familiar paths in the forest. Hearing the gunshots, I knew that my friend Mehmet had taken action. Just a moment, behind a bush, the wild boar appeared. It was not afraid, even looked at me with curiosity. It walked towards me. At this moment, I felt the danger, and I knew that if I did not act, I would become prey. The gunshots tore through the silence. The boar collapsed, and I breathed a sigh of relief. However, I waited at this position because Mehmet said over the radio that there were still a few more wild boars. Another wild boar appeared. Its size was similar to the previous one. This time, I was more experienced. I decisively killed it with one shot. The giant animal was hit and rolled down a mountainside. Wow, this is probably a moment I will never forget. As Mehmet and I gathered and continued to search for traces of wild boar, a wild boar suddenly appeared. Mehmet quickly shot it down. All the teammates were excited to hunt this huge boar. The hunting dogs did not need to rest. They continued to chase their prey. Just a moment later, we heard the barking of dogs deep in the forest. Well, they were surrounding a giant wild boar. Without wasting much time, we pulled the trigger and took it down.
Sana mı kaldırdı ya? Sana kaldırdı abi ya. Valla. Vallahi epeyden güzel. Ha bu kadar kaldı aramız ya. Az daha aldık ben. Gerçekten.
Do you see? The wild boars on this hunt were more impressive in size than all our other hunts. They were all very large in size, with thick and hard fur. Killing them was not easy, so we usually chose large caliber rifles to hunt wild boars in Anatolia.
Bir tane de burada. İki domuz bulduk.
We traced the wild boars through their footprints and droppings. We chose a location where wild boars often passed by to ambush them. Sure enough, it didn't take long. A few wild boars appeared. I quickly opened fire and shot them down. Still in the same position, I continued to take down a giant wild boar. It was running away from my hunting dog. Although hunting dogs are very effective in tracking wild boars, we should not be subjective because wild boars are very aggressive and dangerous. They can attack hunting dogs if chased. Therefore, you must keep a safe distance from these pigs. What if we were attacked by this huge wild boar? To prevent all danger, we quickly took down the wild boar. You can shoot wild boars with 50M or 100M or even 500M, depending on your equipment. But my advice is to hunt wild boars at a distance of 150M to be both effective and safe. In the late afternoon, we moved to the farms next to the hilly area to hunt pigs. Here, we saw many herds of wild pigs running in the fields after harvest. The herds of wild pigs are very fast, so to take them down, we had to aim accurately. With one accurate shot, we took down another adult wild boar. Finally, we gathered the spoils, a large number of wild boars that we destroyed, especially those of enormous size and great destructive power. Wild hogs are not native to Wisconsin. They were introduced to the United States hundreds of years ago, and over time, they interbred with domestic pigs and thrived. Global warming and shorter winters have allowed them to survive and expand their territory into the northern United States. We hunt these animals every week in the forest next to the farm. I never thought I would become a professional boar hunter. The reason is that over the past 2 years, wild boars have attacked my farm and caused thousands of dollars in damage. So I decided to pick up a gun, not for fun, but to protect my own land. Seeing the first wild boar, my heart pounded. I aimed firmly. After a gunshot, the biggest wild boar collapsed on the spot. The rest ran away. With its mountainous terrain and dense brush, Wisconsin is an ideal environment for feral hogs to hide in. If you're a farmer in an area where feral hogs are showing signs of an invasion, don't wait until your entire crop is wiped out. Take action now. From a distance, we saw the wild boars moving from one bush to another. When the wild boar stopped, we felt this was our chance to take it. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger. Just a moment later, we spotted a wild boar. Perhaps it sensed danger, so it stopped to listen. And it could not have imagined that this would be its last moment. On this hunting trip, we have to admit that wild boars are very smart and sensitive. They can sense danger approaching and run away. So to take down wild boars, we all have to be patient and wait for the opportunity. The wild boar runs quite fast. We must seize the opportunity to kill it. The hunting area is very large. Most of the time we move around to find the place with the most wild boars. Hanner, a Belgian-American friend, showed me some tips on hunting wild boars. He said, they often move through the trails every day to feed. We can ambush wild boars there. Sure enough, right on the trail, we saw quite a few wild boars running past. On the way to collect the spoils, we encountered a giant wild boar. See, it looked so big and fat. From a distance, we thought it was a black bear. Wow, we were so excited to have killed the giant wild boar. In the late afternoon, we set some bait traps in the forest edge area around the farm and lured the wild boars in with food. We would ambush them nearby. The available food attracted a herd of wild boars to come and feed. Well, we will shoot the biggest pigs. My companion and I shot together and took down the fattest wild boar.
This is a
An unsuspecting wild boar was shot down by us with just one shot. It was getting dark. We decided to hunt one last pig. Luckily, a herd of wild boars appeared. They were so busy feeding that they didn't notice our presence. It was that lack of vigilance that brought down a pig.
Let's go! Let's go!
The hunt ended late in the afternoon. We collected the wild boars and moved to the staging area. We will continue to hunt in this area for the next few days as there are too many wild boars here.